back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
And me, Than.
Where we give you your weekly double tap of all things Laserforce related. This week, we have a special guest. How about that? Introducing on the mic today, our main man, Taipan. How are you, man?
Hey man, good. How's things?
Pretty good. Just talking rubbish about Laserforce on the internet. How's prep going for Nationals this year?
Man, it's coming together pretty well. So I've got most of the logistical side of things sort of sorted now. We've got everything that kind of needs to go through Laserforce Brisbane and HQ done.
Yeah.
So all of that's pretty much at the stage where I can start throwing things out there and saying, hey, listen, this is going to happen now.
Yeah, I guess it's like the main thing is waiting on jerks to actually book their plane tickets. I guess that's the next kind of wall, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where it's always going to be tough when you don't know until like 1 or 2 months beforehand exactly how many teams are going to be there.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the difficult thing, because we could get anywhere between kind of that 8 or 9 teams to sort of that 12 level, which is kind of where Than is going, hey, listen, Typehead, that's kind of your max when you come to time that you've got.
I mean,
this is a conversation we have had multiple times in the last couple of months, but yeah, no, and it's one of those things with how things are run with the match play and our game length and the fact we only play 2 teams at a time. You just kind of run into these scheduling walls where no matter how efficient you get, you still have to leave a little bit of slack time for unforeseen circumstances. And yeah, we've had a few very constructive conversations with regards to that over the last month or two. But the reality there is that the schedules are done basically for up to 12 teams. So once we know teams are actually fully attending, literally all we have to do is plug in team names, and the schedule will generate itself, and it'll be fantastic.
The magic of scheduling.
Much.
So actually, get some housekeeping out of the way. Type in what are the deets for this year's Nationals, in case people have somehow forgotten from last week.
Yeah, man. So it's from the 30th of July through to the 3rd of August. We've got some practice for you guys, Brisbane teams not included, and the good old golden oldies not included either.
Have you guys extradited them from Brisbane? Are they no longer considered Brisbane?
So there's kind of something that's gone on there, and there's a reason why I don't call them Brisbane, as opposed to them actually being a Brisbane team. And it's based purely on the fact that we have a lot of players coming through again, which is amazing. Like, for the first time in a few years, like, our senior's actually growing again. So we've got 5 teams of 7. So we've gone to 2 ammos, 2 scouts in a game, instead of just your normal 2 scouts. So, like, we've grown for a little bit more over the last 6 months or so. And the reason why I've let this team go in there is based purely on a respect level for Brent, Peter, Jared, and Fredo. They've spent all this time, all this money growing the international scene. They've been to countless internationals together. And it's literally one of those things where this could be the last one that they ever get the chance to play together. Yeah. Brent's saying it's his last one that he's ever going to. I call rubbish.
Yeah, to be fair on that, I'm pretty sure I've heard him say that ever since 2002. So I'm just throwing that out there. He's been saying that for a lot of years.
This is what happened when you mainline Laserforce for so many years. Like, people are like, oh yeah, I could quit anytime, but the amount of people I've heard say, oh, I'm not playing Nationals again. This is my last tournament. Yeah, and then they end up coming back. So I'm looking at you, Night Owl. That's purely directed right at you.
But yeah, like, it's one of those things where it's based purely out of respect value for what they've done. So Absolutely. I've let them do what they what they want to do.
So practice isn't going to include the Brisbane teams. It's purely just for teams travelling to the site.
Yeah, we know how the arena works. We don't need any more time.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
I've got some top secret stuff that's secret squirrel business that's going on that not even the golden oldies know about. So,
ooh, that's some juicy secrets. It sounds like you have right there.
Yeah, we're trying something a little bit different so that we can get a little bit of an upper hand on them.
If it's trying to utilize this phenomenon called fat air, I'd be very much keen to see how you guys utilize fat air, because I've seen other teams attempt it, but yeah. Cool. So I'm looking forward to practice, man. I can't wait to get back in that maze. And I played there a few times now, but every time you go back, there's something that's changed. Especially now, most people wouldn't have seen the new changes to the maze, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. So, like, most of them... like, you've got Scythe Beams and the other Sanch. And...
Death Knight.
I don't even remember. Oh,
yeah,
that's
DK
right,
DK,
DK.
yeah.
Of course. I was like, who was the fourth? How can I forget DK? Jesus. Fireball
Shout
DK.
out Fireball DK, yeah.
Can't leave Fireball DK.
I can't wait to potentially ride the Green Lantern ride with Fireball DK again. He makes Movie World so much better.
He's got to come over here, right? Like,
I hope he does.
This is the challenge shout out right now. DK, get on a plane. It's got to happen.
Yeah. Mortgage your house if you need to. Like, sell your wife, whatever.
Well, that would involve him, A, owning a house, and B, actually being married, and neither of those things are true, so...
that sounds like a sick burn to me. That's Than calling you out, DK. You better come to Brisbane and sort him out.
Frosty's an investment banker, right? He can throw some money here and there.
Than, have you seen when was the last time you played Brisbane?
The last time I was in Brisbane was actually 2007, that was purely Julia and I were overseeing her family for Christmas, so I popped in for a few games. So it's been a really long time since I've been in the Brisbane maze.
So to put that into perspective, I started playing my first game of Laserforce in December 2007.
What year were you born? Just quietly.
94.
94.
94. I was a freshman in high school. Ended my freshman year, started my sophomore year. So I was basically for our Australia, New Zealand friends listening to this. So, but basically, year 9 to year 10 is where I was at that point when you were born, Taipan. So,
damn youths. Okay, cool. Well, like you wouldn't have seen, the addition of the Vortex. The Blue
He
Tower.
wouldn't have even seen Blue Tower. Yeah.
Or even Obsdeck. Was Obsdeck?
Obsdeck has been okay. So the observation area has been there since day one.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, I'm trying to remember if I think the Obsdeck was a thing when I was there in 07. I think.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember. Sorry.
But again, I've slept since then, so I could be wrong.
That's Than's catchphrase, by the way.
I actually don't remember playing a game without the Obsdeck.
Really?
That's how short a period of time I've been playing in terms of Brisbane and how it's changed.
Yeah.
I don't remember playing without Obsdeck. And you don't have the God, I can't even remember what that's called anymore. The hold. That's the one.
The hold?
Yeah, the hold downstairs. As soon as you walk in the arena next to Red Airlock, where the screen used to be, the TV screen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all of that's gone, right?
Yep, that's all gone.
Yeah, that's right. They had, oh, yeah, I remember that. There was really bad reflection into there. Like, there was two sections to that part, right? There was, like, the kitchen, which is still there. Is that what that's called?
Yep, yeah, that's still there, under Obs.
Yeah, and then the hold was basically on that same hallway and kind of had the same
Yeah.
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 Oh, wow. Yeah. And there's also the addition of stairs in the Brisbane Maze, which stairs in the Laserforce arena just always wig me out, but I never
Always
understood
goes.
that.
Wait a minute. Stairs? What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There's
What?
stairs.
There's stairs
There's
in the arena. Yeah. There's a like a 4 set of stairs as you head up red ramp, and you can either. It used to be that you had to keep following red ramp. You turn right and go all the way up to red tower. Now you can go straight at that corner and go up some stairs into Ob's deck. And there's also a couple of stairs into the vortex as well, which goes from the is it the bridge? That's that middle part. The bridge across into Blue Tower. So
We won't bring up what the average Joe's called it, but
yes. I think that may have been Hoodie. That was either Hoodie or Al's doing. But
I remember playing you guys when you first decided to use that. I reckon I physically stopped in the game for a minute laughing in my own resupply because I couldn't stop. It was hilarious.
Actually, you know what? Bollocks. It was called the cock and balls. That's the bridge and the helm. Cock and balls.
The cock, the balls, and the fleshlight.
That's so fantastic, guys.
Yeah, you can see now why I'm pretty sure it was. I was pretty sure it was Hoodie, but it may have been.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just the sheer fact that there's stairs and fan that you didn't know about them. I'm glad we get practice on the Sunday. It's gonna be a massive help.
Yeah, we'll obviously be there. So just so everyone knows, the technicality is that it's me and Andrew who are the coordinators for the tournament this year.
When you say Andrew, do you mean Glader?
I do,
Okay.
yes. So Peter kind of handed the reins down to me and his son, just because we seem to spend the most time playing.
Yeah.
And between the pair of us, I'm very good with talking to people outside the arena. Inside the arena is a different story. Outside the arena, I'm very good at talking to people. Whereas Andrew's a lot better with sort of that logistical side of things, the stats and all that kind of stuff. So he'll look after that further down the track.
Yeah. He's like a young Thanatos.
Yeah, whereas I've sort of looked after trying to get everyone in and making sure that this is going to be an internationals never to forget.
Well, I mean, with that in mind, what do you feel are some of like the challenges that you faced this year with the organizing of the tournament?
Honestly, I think it's been pretty smooth. I think the major challenge is obviously the fact that what I'm trying to achieve is to try and grow as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I understand that that is obviously difficult with our time restrictions and things like that. But it's one of those things that I think is super important because a lot of the people that are currently playing are sort of anywhere between that late 20s to early 30s to older. We do definitely have new blood coming through, and that's the most important reason why I've kind of separated these two, the Golden Oldies and the Brisbane teams, is that I wanted younger players playing, which means that I actually made the rule, other than a couple of exceptions, that you have to be playing this season.
I think that's quite like a pretty great rule actually, because if you're a centre and you're in the sort of shape where you can have the luxury to actually, I mean, I wouldn't say exclude, but like put some restrictions onto who can actually play in the tournament, then that's great. That's great for the future of your site. I mean, I know for a lot of sites they struggle to get enough to play two teams, on a members night or whatever. So it sounds like there's some pretty good growth there.
Yeah, man, like there's always been good growth, and recently we've kind of started going through Laserforce Brisbane, particularly Matili, who's been amazing with basically I've asked and she's done. It's literally been a case of that recently.
She works for Laserforce Brisbane, right? Laserforce HQ?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's Karen's daughter, so Karen's Len's wife.
Right.
So yeah, like she's been amazing. She's done as much as she possibly can recently to try and help league out and stuff like that. We've been putting Facebook posts up because I've been concerned about growth, and man, we got 10 new players in this season.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Like, just from me going, okay, we need to do something now, otherwise we're going to run into strife 6 months, 12 months down the track. And a couple of those new players, whilst they don't really know the rules properly, are picking up the game so fast.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary to me because I was like, well, I played 1,000 games before I came to League, and like, fair enough, I jumped in like a duck to water, but some of these kids, what they could do is scary. Like, there could be some really, really, really good players in that lot.
When you with just on the like the growth of the site, how are they bringing new members in? Are they pushing League as something, you know, to people that are playing like the Saturday night social stuff, or how are they managing to bring those people from general play into Space Marines?
It's actually quite interesting because party nights in recent years has suffered a bit. So we've gone from probably generating 130, 140 people on party nights for what people don't know is a 6 to 12 on a Saturday night during school holidays.
That's insane numbers, man.
Yeah, probably down to about 40 or 50 at the most. So it's definitely dwindled.
Which I'm going to pause you right there. Most sites would kill to have 40 or 50 people there on that type of all-you-can-play thing in that time frame. So I get that it's, you know, it's down from what Laserforce Brisbane has traditionally enjoyed at that, you know, 100+ level on those, but yeah, let's, you know, that whole perspective thing, most sites would kill to have those type of numbers.
I think Auckland on a good night might get, I don't know, I think 15 or 20 people on a party night. So 40 to 50, that's some magic right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, it is still, I think people have gotten to the stage now where it's like, okay, well, I played there when I was younger. I've now got kids. I'm going to take them back there and see how it is.
I mean, it helps if your site's been around for
30
years.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and so are they pushing, you know, League play at these nights? Is that something like recruitment, for lack of a better word?
Yes and no. I think, and this is like a huge shout out because this player 100% has, I wouldn't say been bullied, but has been, for the better part of it, relegated to the lower thoughts of Laserforce League in Brisbane. But Angel has done a lot in terms of party night to League kind of progression.
Yeah.
Like, over the years, she's been involved in getting a few different players in and playing, as have I, in terms of we rock up to party nights. If there's a good player there, or we think that they can hold their own in League or do something like that, we offer it to them. We go straight up to them. And, like, she is kind of the understated person that goes out, pays the money to do this, plays, enjoys herself, helps people in the arena, that young players that don't know what they're doing. And then the better player, she goes, hey, what are you doing on Monday nights?
That's pretty awesome, because I mean, for like a very long time, the regular players at Auckland Laserforce were told, do not come to party nights. We weren't really welcome there, because the for whatever reason, the thought process was, well, if you come, you destroy everyone, and then they don't want to come back. You know, which costs us business. But it's awesome to hear that you have somebody who's committed to, you know, going down and not only having fun with the game, but like spotting talent and proactively bringing that talent through to a higher form of the game. That's awesome. I really wish that more sites would do that, because it would contribute to the growth of our game, I think.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And that's the thing as well, is that like she never claims to be a top level player.
If you love the game, you love the game, you know?
That's exactly right. And you know, the funny thing is that up until probably the last year and a half, when I started to get really more into work, I used to go to party nights, and like, I don't understand where owners kind of get the idea that we're just going to go in there and attack new players.
Well, so I, having been on the other side of that, unfortunately, there are a lot of players that, you know, do kind of fall in that mid to upper range tier that that don't have that type of respect for the game, for the management, for the facility, for ownership, whatever, and so you do have a lot of examples over the years from different sites, from different systems. This is not a Laserforce specific issue. This is a laser tag in general issue, in that you do have, you know, people who go in and just absolutely pound on newer players, and then that does cost the site business. And so rather than taking a scalpel to the problem, a lot of sites instead take a sledgehammer to the problem. And the sledgehammer solution to that problem is, well, you know, if you're an advanced player, you just don't get to play on XYZ nights in any way, shape, or form, because we had this bad experience, you know, insert time frame here ago. So that's where it stems from. This has been an issue since day one of laser tag. You know, if you go all the way back to the original Photon days, this was a problem. Move forward through to the QZAR days, and I'm going through US specific sites here at the moment. It was a problem. You know, you move into other systems, it was a problem. I mean, this is why sometimes like members nights type nights get started, is because management kind of goes, well, we need some place to put these people where we can still take their money, but they're not negatively impacting our core business. So you
can understand it. It's frustrating, because it's a double-edged sword, right? If you cut out, or you know, you stop the people that are willing to push the games, do you take the loss from people not wanting to play with these people, or do you take the loss from people not recruiting these people? So that's a tough one.
Yeah,
I think you put it far more poetically than I did, but
see, I think what people underestimate as well is that someone like you, Steve-O, is never ever going to be concerned about your scores in a game.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things where I think, don't know how Auckland operates. I've never been there. I'm never going to assume how Auckland operates.
Yeah,
but to have you there and going, okay, I want to push this, I want to push this, I want to push this, I want to push this. This is how I want to do it. I would kill to have that even in Brisbane. But it's one of those things as well that I think we need to look at how we've got two owners now who own Laserforce sites. One owns 3 in Perth, one owns 1 in Rockhampton. The lady in Rockhampton, Mars, is the sales rep for Laserforce in Australasia. Her business has always run very, very well in terms of members and leagues and stuff, but it's kind of second to Wombat. Wombat is the Perth owner, and he gets like 50 players to league a week.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's over 3 sites.
That's
still
mini,
50 players.
Mini like regional tournament kind of numbers. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we've had a player go over there for personal reasons. Gooby, I don't know whether anyone remembers Gooby. She didn't play internationals in 2014 because she was just a little baby. But she's gone over there and started working for Wombat, and she's just like, he's a great boss.
Yeah.
And like their numbers are just crazy in terms of, they put 7 teams into the national competition that we went to.
Wow. I mean, what else are you going to do in Perth, though?
Fair enough. There's no
cheap shot. I've never been to Perth. I hear it's lovely.
Man, like, if we can take some sort of leaflet into how they're doing things, like, everyone around Australia is going to just thrive. The Australian scene is going to thrive, and New Zealand will follow. We'll see where the next sort of 3-4 years leaves us. Because it's a very interesting time in the world of SM5 where America's outgrowing Australia and New Zealand for the first time ever.
Which is pretty awesome. It opens up more opportunities to travel and also for people to come down here. I mean, you know, we talked about in a previous episode, the sheer numbers of people that are traveling to come to this tournament is unprecedented.
Yeah, man, I'm loving it. Like, and that's the thing is that the more, and I've made this statement to Brisbane players, the more teams we get, the more money the site makes, the more likelihood of us being able to do what we want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's definitely pluses coming out of the States growing. But again, that's one of the challenges of this tournament is going, okay, so where do we limit it? And obviously 12 is a nice round number, but 12's not kind of enough anymore.
I think at some point, I mean, in the original, you know, national structure for Australia, it was one team per site, and that was it, and that served well for a period of time. Why multiple teams from sites started being allowed was because of the lack of sites participating. You know, it was if this site doesn't have 2 teams, we're only going to have 4 or 5 teams total, and that's just not necessarily the greatest time ever. But if we get back to a point where as a scene, we've got these basically large site clusters that are running these larger leagues, then maybe it becomes something where in order to get to nationals, you have to play out of your state. You have to make it through some sort of state level competition before you can move on. And that's something that I know has been done or essentially something similar to that has been done in other systems in the States in years prior. When certain scenes were much larger than they are now. You had to play through certain things before you could qualify to go to a nationals. So that may become something that gets a harder look at, because the reality is that at the nationals level, that is supposed to be in quotes the best possible team that you can get from your site. I mean, that was always the original intention. If the scene grows to the point where you have to do these playthrough qualifiers to get to nationals, maybe that's what we can get it back to. And at that point, maybe the team number thing isn't quite so much of an issue, because you've had to do that qualifying process. Whether or not that's necessarily realistic, because I definitely understand the site owner perspective of they want to maximize their revenue for the time that the facility is being used, and that's 100% understandable. We want our sites to make money, because if they make money, they stay open. We can keep playing lasers. It's fantastic. So that just becomes something that we probably end up needing to have a larger conversation about. Probably not during the rest of this podcast, no. But at some point that definitely becomes a larger conversation.
And it's certainly a really good problem to have. I mean, if again we said it before, like if you have too many people, then the player pool to choose from becomes greater, and the quality of teams that you get coming out of these different areas just grows so much. So.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, it's a good problem to have.
Absolutely. Cool. So, I mean, that probably is as good a place as any to finish up for today. Thanks heaps for joining us, Taipan. It's been good chatting with you.
Thanks for having me, man.
All good.
Always a pleasure.
Good luck for the for the remaining couple of months worth of stress that you have ahead of you with waiting on confirmation of teams and the internal dramas of Laserforce Brisbane that you've got to handle.
No dramas
cool.
at the moment.
Yeah,
actually.
better. What? Better you than me, though. For once, better you than me.
Coming from a deep pit of despair when it comes to Laserforce organization, that's where Than used to live. But I can't believe there's no dramas at Brisbane Laserforce. That's great. Cool. All right. Well, until next time, I've been Guy Next Door.
Not been fan.
And always remember to backtrack, kids. See you next time.